guys, what's going on? This is Ash here coming at you today in World War Doh. Welcome to my new channel, guys. This is my third YouTube channel right now, and I don't know if I'm going to stick with it, honestly, but feel free to subscribe. Let me know if you have any positive feedback here, if you enjoyed the game like I do. The download link to the game will be the first line of the description, guys, and the pinned comment. Please use my download link. It does help me out, guys, so I appreciate that. This is a non-sponsored video, but the download link does help me and shows the developer that people are actually watching my videos, actually enjoy the game. Anyway, guys, today we're going to go ahead and cover the basics of the game, 10 tips that I've kind of learned along the way that I wanted to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and just jump right to it. This game is, you know, at first you look at it, the IP is different than kind of Clash Royale, which I cover on my main channel, but the gameplay is really different. But the nice thing is it's easy to pick up and understand because, hey, you're rocking decks, you have clubs just like clans in Clash Royale, you have decks just like you do in Clash Royale, they're 8 cards, you have, instead of elixir, you have dough, hence the World War Doh. Dough is your currency in this game, but the gameplay is a lot different. You have a commander that you can maneuver and control around the arena, and you know, you have a bunch of other stuff as well, which we'll get to in this video. The first tip I want to tell you guys about this game is actually here on the main screen, right? You go to the news tab. You guys see the news tab on the left-hand side? It's kind of a world icon, kind of looks like Saturn, a planet icon. Well, you click on that, and a lot of people don't know this, and shout out to my boy Winsanity, by the way, great YouTuber, Winsanity on the news feed. He's making dough content too. Check him out. On the replay feeds are actually in their news tab. Now, this is very interesting, right? You can go to the replays, see the top ladder replays in this game, but they're kind of buried. World War Doh, if you're watching the channel. Took me a while to even realize these were here, right? So you can check out the top replays in the game and just kind of learn the strategy and the top ladder strategy as you go, and it's actually in the news tab on the replays feed. Kind of hard to get to, so that's the first tip for you guys. Watch those replays, learn from the best players in the game. I am in contact with a few of those players, and I hope to get them on the channel on voice interviews similar to what I do on my main channel. The second tip for you guys is going to be, actually let me throw on a replay or two. Alright, so tip number 2 is going to be have a game plan. I see so many players just rushing the opponent's towers at the beginning of the game. That's not a good strategy. It's just not a good strategy at all. At least have a game plan. If you want to rush, if you want to be hyper aggressive in this game, go for it. But the thing is at least, at the very least, wait till the opponent makes a play. Wait till they burn some of their dough first. That way you can pressure them and at least know that you have the dough advantage, because otherwise they're going to have the tower advantage. Even if you burn your rage ability, nothing's going to come of it except for giving your opponent a decisive advantage inside the game. Now the shoe goes on the other foot as well. If your opponent rushes you, and they just, you know, so many times, you'd be surprised. No, you won't be surprised if you play this game, but so many times the opponent will just go, you know, balls to the wall and just attack your tower and burn their rage ability. And oftentimes they don't even use support troops or just maybe one support troop. And, you know, for me, I always handle those situations the same, right? Is I will not burn my rage right away if I don't have to. Instead, I'll try to kill all the support troops first, let their rage tower ability run out on their commander, and then they just have to retreat, and guess what? Then I have the rage. I can use my dough to counterattack, and then I can rage their tower. They have no rage to defend against me. So that's a great kind of strategy you can use to play into your opponent's just haphazard aggressiveness inside this game. Now, tip number 3 is going to be, don't play a card when you know your opponent has a great counter in hand, okay? So starting out with like a dinosaur egg, when you know your opponent has spells in hand or can just rush and take care of it and then just retreat, is usually not a great decision, right? So, you know, be very careful, especially with your starting plays, but just know if your opponent has a great counter to something that you have in hand, play another card. Now, sometimes you're just not going to have a choice. They're going to have a great counter to something you have in hand anyway, but understand what your opponent is playing and what strategy they're trying to use before just, you know, randomly playing cards in your hand. Usually, just keep in mind your first play of the game is very easily countered by the opponent, so try to have an early game strategy no matter the deck you're using. Next tip is going to be know your damage types. So there are different types of damage inside World War Doh, and you really just need to click on a card and figure out, and it will come to you. Don't feel like you have to memorize every card in the game, but normal, demolition, and poison types. Demolition does more damage against buildings, poison does more damage against commanders, and normal does regular damage to all troops and reduced damage against both buildings and commanders. So for example, here we go to Chop Chop, who's an amazing character in the game. He has damage type normal. Normal damage is reduced against buildings and commanders. But then we have a poisoner in the game. Let's go ahead and click on Dr. Death here. Dr. Death has damage type poison, and as you can see, poison deals extra damage to commanders and does not affect buildings, okay? And then last but not least, we have the demolition. Let's go ahead and click on the Dread Zeppelin. I love the name of these cards in this game. And demolition does extra damage and is ideal for killing buildings. So know each type of unit that you're running. You don't have to run one of each, but at least know what they're good at and what they're not good at in terms of the different types of cards you have in your deck. The next tip is going to be to make sure you always use your piggy and you always enter the Tower of Doh whenever you can. So the piggy, there's different types of piggies in the game, and you can see each of them has a different benefit that you'll get on every reward that you get from your wins and your battles, okay? So you can see all the different types here on the screen right now. Just make sure you're always using the piggy, and hey, look at this. Because I have the extravagant pass and I'm a dirty gemmer in the game, I get an extra spin. We're going to go ahead and do so. Let's see what pork we get here on the next spin. So it looks like we are going to get, okay, we're going to get easy piggy, and you know what? I'll take easy piggy. We get extra gems there. So now we're going to go ahead and Tower of Loot here. Now, Tower of Loot is great. Make sure you enter it and take full advantage of the Tower of Loot in this game. Okay, so you go in, it's kind of like a casino thing. You pick cards and you hope for no whammies, aka no enemy commanders. And the further you progress, the more chance that you have for Doh Diamonds. So what the heck's a Doh Diamond? You go over here to your artifact, Doh Shards. So you go to your Doh Shards here in Artifact Research, and it unlocks these legendary dual-use spells, such as Monkey on Your Back, which, gets a monkey literally on the back of the opposing commander, makes them go slower. It's a great way to kill them, and then you can really go in for the kill with a banana, which speeds up all your troops in the area, and they just do crazy damage. So make sure that you're using the Tower of Doh. That's how you can get these Doh Shards, which you can use to unlock these artifacts in your Artifact Research screen. The next tip is going to be to upgrade your common card. So this is one of those games where just don't, obviously the legendary cards are great, and a lot of them are really, really powerful. Same thing with the epics and all the different rarities. However, don't judge a book based on its rarity, okay? Now, seriously, like, a lot of common cards in this game are really, really good and endgame viable, okay? An example of those, and these cheap common cards too, I love them, right? I already told you I love Chop Chop. He goes invisible, he does extra damage on his first hit. And then, this Yetlings here, they do freeze. They do freeze attack. Freeze is really strong in this game. So it definitely is something that you want to consider upgrading your commons. And in terms of upgrade strategy, try if you can to stick to a core, especially early on, a core base of maybe, like 4 to 6 common cards, or 4 to 6 cards that you happen to have a lot of, you happen to like, your natural fit to them inside the arena. Try to stick to those cards. And you can see even in my collection here, I have not a lot of cards upgraded, right? Except for my actual deck, because I'm not wasting my gold here on cards that I don't think I want to use right now. So just kind of keep that in mind. Value common cards is going to be definitely a tip that you guys should take away from this video. Put a lot of value on them. It doesn't mean they're trash just because they're common. All right, guys, so the last 4 tips I'm going to give you while I'm trying to play a match here. So tip number 1 is target troops, not the commander, okay? Tip number 6, 7, I don't know. I'm losing track here, guys. But here's the thing, right? Make sure you're targeting the troops or whatever units that the opposing commander is spawning here, instead of just going right after the... And this guy, look at... he's using spells early on, just randomly here. I'm not too scared about it. I don't have a great first place. I'm just going to play the Yeti here. I would love to play the barrel drop. But we're going to go ahead and collect our dough. But again, guys, yeah, I see so many people targeting the opposing commander, right? instead of worrying about actually the troops. You want to worry about the troops first, okay? I'm actually going to go ahead and use, I'm going to go pretty hard here. So that's another tip for you guys. Another tip is, what you can do is don't be afraid to rush your opponent, okay? Don't be afraid to, not your opponent, you're a commander. But if they're spawning things like Van Gun, for example, if they're spawning Van Gun early on, if they're spawning big threats, don't be afraid to respond. Now check this out. I'm going to respond right here in his face. See if we can kill everything. So see how I'm putting pressure right now with my commander? That's okay to do. I don't necessarily think I'm going to kill his tower here, but I'm going to apply some pressure, kind of annoy him, and that's what I always try to do. Always be annoying to the opponent's commander. If you want to stop them from capping their barrel, go for it, right? If you want to, it doesn't necessarily be, and by the way, this is another tip for you guys, right? If you want, and look at this guy. I mean, this guy is just, it's not a winning strategy, man. You can't just nuke my tower, you know? You have to do more than just nuke in this game. You have to have a strategy, and it has to usually involve troops. I mean, I've seen some people run spell-only strategies, but truthfully, it's just not the best, right? You can definitely get way more bang for your buck if you kind of, have an overall strategy other than just, I'm going to rush my opponent or be super, super aggressive here. So I'm going to win this battle. It's already done. But this guy, I'm going to take a heal now. That's another tip for you guys, by the way. Don't use your heal unless you actually need it. In this case, I knew he was going to kill my tower here, so I used it, right? But normally I would not. All right, so we're going to finish this in just a moment here. Let's go ahead and annoy him. I don't want him to be able to get all this dough. So you can see, he's trying to cap the barrel. I'm not going to allow him to. I don't want him to cap the barrel. And that's another tip for you guys, right? Strategic positioning is important in this game, but also everybody talks about positioning in this game. Another thing that you want to talk about is just being annoying, right? And if that means BMing, go ahead and BM too, right? Oh, by the way, look what I'm doing right now. Gotta be careful too. Gotta be careful. I'm gonna nuke him. I think I might kill him right here. And we got it. Okay. So yeah, he's down. So yeah, guys, let me go over everything that I was trying to tell you in that battle. Note to self, don't do live battles while I'm trying to give tips, okay? So smart positioning is key, right? Make sure your commander's not vulnerable. Don't just leave him just kind of randomly in the middle of the arena if he's low on health. Position yourself to your tower so your towers can protect you and distract the opponent's troops. Tip number 2 is target troops, not the commander. So if they have a healer, you should not be targeting their commander. You should be targeting the healing bot, okay? And then control the elixir in the match. Be aggressive, be annoying, be a thorn in the side of the opponent's commander by, just, your goal here isn't necessarily to steal all of their dough. Your goal here is to just be annoying and, hit them a few times, lay a poison on them or something. That way they cannot cap their barrel. And then don't be afraid. The last tip that I was trying to divulge to you guys in that match is just, it's really important to attack. Your opponent starts out with a Van Gun. Who's Van Gun? I'll show you who he is. Your opponent starts out with a Van Gun. Just go ahead and attack him, right? And this is why we love the piggies here. Gonna supersize. Yes, please. So feed him up. We're good. Check it out, right? So Van Gun is a guy that you'll see a lot, especially in the, everywhere, really. And he's a guy who will target your commander, or target the commander from the other side of the arena, okay? Now, if my opponent opens up with a Van Gun, I'm just going to rush the Van Gun. I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to leave, I'm not going to stick around to lose all my health. But if your opponent starts out with a really aggressive play like that, or they start out with a Rex, for example, you want to join my club? Sure, you can join my club. By the way, my club, guys, is Ashholes. I have an Ashholes 1, an Ashholes 2, an Ashholes 3, and an Ashholes 4 right now. So feel free to join one of our clubs if you want to. We're at 50 members right now, but we kick the lowest member every single day. So just keep an eye out. So guys, I hope these tips helped you out. Let me know if you want me to continue covering this game. If you want pro tips for this game, let me know. And make sure you use, again, the download link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.